Hello, everyone. Jose J. Garcia with Garcia Home University here. Special guest here today with us out of Germany. She is an international speaker, a business strategist, entrepreneur. I'm going to say it, Anja Rogan Pirtz.
Well done.
Close. How are you?
I'm really good. Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Bit of time difference, like we said here. But so I know you through the same coaching platforms. We were just talking about your beautiful background there. A couple of my coaches, mentors. You do a lot of things, a lot of business we'll get into. But for people that don't know you, tell us about you.
Ooh, where do I start? No, it's I always say, even when I was so pre-COVID, we used to do a lot of events, a lot of training events for entrepreneurs. Mostly it was about scaling your business or even starting your business, and it was around sales and all that. And I always said I didn't even, and I noticed in the end, if someone would even bring it up to me, you never really introduce yourself properly, like tell us about yourself so much, because you're so engaged in giving the content or helping us, it goes by. So I mean, there's a lot, but there's also, what matters to me most is that I can help people, that I can help people get from where they are, get results and get further. That's always my main intention, my main goal, because I think a lot of things are, we can have a nice conversation, but then what good is it going to do in business? Because
Sure.
you need to be practical and you need to be focused to getting results. Otherwise, you're literally wasting time and a lot of energy and effort that you're putting into things. And then you're just being busy, right? I like to be focused. And so this is, I guess, if I would sum it up, this is what I would say. And I've been in business for, I don't even want to say it now anymore because I feel like I'm getting older, but, over 11, 12
Wiser.
years. Yeah. So, and it's always been an interesting journey, because I've started with literally absolutely nothing. And I know I'm not the only one, but I came from, I mean, when you run away from home because you have to, then you come from nothing as well, right? So I had to build my confidence up. I had to build my skills. I had to get out of where I actually come from, because I come from a small country that has a 2 million population, which is the size of the city that I live in now, right? So I had to leave that country to be able to go further and grow more and reach more people and do more of what I'm supposed to be doing. So I guess what I would say is, one thing is I'm committed to getting people results. And the other thing is, I have a no excuses policy. If there's a will, there's a way, and I had to make things work, and I just couldn't come up with excuses, because it was either I would bring up excuses or I would have results and progress. And I expect the same from people, and that's the only way to get ahead.
That is the name of the podcast now here. No excuses. That's good stuff. And a lot of motivation. As part of your bio now, we're going to put motivator as well. Good stuff. And you mentioned something, I was interviewing another entrepreneur, also through the same platforms that we have. And he was talking about, he kind of went in a little more into the struggles, the beginnings. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people forget, when we see somebody successful like yourself, that's not the way it's always been. You went through a lot of stuff to get there. And when you talk about some of this here, struggles in beginning and come from nothing to where you're at, it took one thing: hard work and dedication. So that is huge there. One of my coaches would put it is like riding a bike. You cannot learn to ride a bicycle without falling. It's gonna happen. So that's
Yeah.
struggle, but you keep going. You keep moving
Yeah.
forward. So that is great. Are y'all traveling now? Or is that open again?
Well, at the moment, I'm not traveling, and it's not even necessary in that sense, because so much is now online. Basically, everything is online. And you save a lot of costs, to be honest. But on the other hand, I do miss being with people, right? It's a completely different experience when you can meet with people, when you can,
Mhm.
hug a person that you haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
For me, business is not, I always say, you don't do business with products, you don't do business with services, you don't do business with companies, you don't even do business with departments in certain companies. You do business with people always,
Yes.
no
Yes.
matter what you do. And that's why it's this personal, interaction is so important. And so thank God we have technology and we can connect online now. I can't imagine how it would be if this would be 30 years ago, where these platforms, they didn't exist. So I don't
Oh
know
yeah.
how it would look. It would be a completely different story.
Sure,
Um,
sure. Yeah. No,
yeah,
I'm glad it is opening. A lot of here in the States, we have a lot of the RIAs, the connections networks, they're starting to pick up. So I'm gladly for that. Um,
yeah.
but Zoom definitely has spoiled us. I myself in the same way. You get to wear a polo and pajamas, so that's okay. You're at your home.
Yeah. Yeah, in our language we say on top a lady, down comfortable, but it's a nice rhyme. So it's like, you know, you have a nice, I am dressed up now though. I'm not in my pajamas.
Okay.
But it does happen often that you would be in a nice
So
blouse and then tights. Just,
JT style, we'll call it that.
yeah.
Okay. Well, you've spoken at a lot of very big stages, a lot of people like you have on your background there, many, many successful. I always say it is imperative that you surround yourself around positivity. How is the energy, though, to be around so many very successful, like-minded people?
You know, I found that they are always also just people and they like to be seen that way. A lot of people who are successful don't like to have fans around them. They want to have a meaningful conversation with someone. They want to see that that person that they're talking to is actually using their mind and is thinking about stuff that is important. And I never found this to be a problem, actually, even though I was a very shy person. I'm an introvert by nature. And so if I would be, I don't know, going for a drink with someone, and I don't drink alcohol, but it would be a juice or whatever. And I would be sitting in the middle of the day with someone, they would be drinking coffee, and all of a sudden it would be my friend, right? They would have to go to the bathroom. And I would be left at the table with someone that is their friend that I kind of know, but not really. I hated those situations, right? So I just really didn't want to be left alone with the person. And now so this was one of the things I had to grow into, you know, learning how to be with people. But having conversations with people that are very, very successful were never a problem, on the other hand, because I was just so it's not respectful like you have fear from them, but I just have this huge respect for what they did in life, and they were my inspiration. So I was curious about, you know, what their way of thinking is, how did they start, what was their biggest challenges, how did they overcome them, all of these things. And they were just then enjoying having the conversation. So this was actually always my preferred, you know, kind
Sure.
of community or
Uh,
people that I would be surrounding myself with always.
Sure. And another thing you mentioned there was again the introvert. I myself was that way. And it seems like more and more successful people all had an introvert side to them that, it was there. So, and I think it is always there. Again, in the previous podcast I had, I was talking about that, how even when I'm in a group like this setting is awesome. I talk, I'm loud sometimes, but throughout the day, I get quiet again. So it's there. It's interesting. Are you attending the Mega this year?
If I can travel, for sure, I definitely want to be there. Yeah. I was joking, if I can't fly, I'll swim.
Well, you might want to start now.
Yeah, and someone offered that we will rent a boat together, so we may actually make it on time.
Absolutely. Well, we hope to see you there. I will be attending. You're a business strategist. You have this sell without sell. Tell us about that.
Well, I think one thing is, and it's kind of a broad thing, but I'll just try to keep it narrow, right? We are always selling. We're either selling or we're buying. I'll put it that way. You're either selling your idea to someone, or they're selling their excuse to you, or whatever the situation is. Just even the simplest thing, like someone calls you, let's go for a coffee. You either will sell them an excuse why you don't want to go, or they sold you why you should come and you will go. It's
Interesting.
always this interaction. So sales, in my opinion, or in my view and my experience, like I said, we're always working with people, no matter what we do. So it's always these conversations, it's agreements, it's making it work. And selling without selling is, I mean, I used to hate salespeople that would go from door to door, because my grandpa would just buy anything, because he just loved talking about, you know, the war. He was in the Second World War, and I love the stories too. So I thought, well, why don't you give me the money instead, right? I was
Yeah.
like a little kid. But they would just come in and they would listen to those stories, and then he would buy whatever they were selling. And I hated that because they took advantage of him. He didn't need all of that stuff, right? He never needed it, but he was just so grateful they were listening, he would buy. But
Yeah.
I then learned that selling it has to do with an exchange that is fair.
Mhm,
And as long as you're offering something that is of value to someone
mhm,
and that is helpful and that's going to improve their life or experience in whatever way, then you don't need to be pitching, and you don't need to have all these cue words and all these sentences that you're going to use to manipulate. You can have a conversation and you come to an agreement because it makes sense. And that's where I feel that a lot of people are missing out on a lot of opportunities, especially because there's so many people who have talents or experience that they could actually put out there into the world that the world could benefit from, and they don't do it because they are feeling resentment or resistance towards selling. They don't want to be perceived as salespeople. Well, we're all salespeople all the time anyway.
Yeah, and funny you mentioned that. That was going to be a question: is can everybody sell? Is there a true skill to it, or is this something you kind of just born with?
Everyone is selling.
Yeah.
So it's just, do you take it to the next level then, and you are becoming more useful to the world as well with what you can offer, or are you simply selling and buying day-to-day stuff? It's just the only difference there is. And yes, of course, you need to learn some skills. You need to learn how to have a conversation with a person. It needs to have a head and a tail, we say, right? It needs to have a start and the end. You need to know how to take them through that process so that it feels comfortable for both. And you also need to be able to close it. So you do need to develop those skills and feeling for, how the conversation is going. But everyone is selling. It's just the question is how
Interesting.
well.
Yeah. And of course, practice makes better. So then
Yeah.
there's that. So as you may be aware, I'm a mobile home investor, coach, and mentor is a hidden side to real estate. Do you invest in real estate?
Not yet, but it's definitely on my radar. Well, I have some real estate, but I haven't. It's not active investing and turnover and all these things. It just hasn't. It wasn't my area yet. I wasn't that familiar with it yet. But now, the more that I'm kind of listening to all these deals and everything that's coming in, I'm understanding it better, and I know what it means because I've just been busy with other stuff. I didn't really,
Yeah.
I do want to have a feeling for what is going on if I put my money into something. But it's definitely something that is in the future. Yes.
Well, if you decide to start with mobile homes, we'll be here waiting for you, ready to coach you. So absolutely reach out to us. But do you think it's a good time to get into business at this time? The whole everything that is going on?
I will maybe sound crazy, but I think it's always a good time to get into business. The
I
question
agree.
is what kind of business you get into, right? Because there's always, each challenge presents also opportunities. So you just have to be able to recognize them and then go in a smart way, and educated, of course, or skilled for that situation. You cannot throw yourself into something just because it's a situation that is available and then you're not able to handle it properly. That's not what I'm saying. But there are opportunities always in challenging situations. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Can you, provide some value? Can you provide some service? Whatever you can do to be of service, there's always opportunities for getting into business. And yes, I think you should, because the more people get independent financially, the more people will be relaxed also, happier, kinder, and also more fulfilled going through life, and not feeling miserable and depending on whatever is going to be given to them.
Absolutely. If you could go back 10 years, what kind of advice would you give yourself?
Oh, what would I give myself as an advice?
Mm.
I think I would just say, you know what, you're thinking the right thing, just keep going. Because I always had that that idea or that belief that even if the situation or the opportunity is not there yet, that doesn't mean that I'm not supposed to be getting ready for it now. So I always looked at it, even if I was investing into coaching or whatever I was doing, I was traveling all over the planet to get coaching for things that I wasn't able to even apply yet, because I was not in a certain situation yet, or I wasn't financially able to do much with that, but I just gained the knowledge. But I knew that if it's better to be prepared and not have an opportunity yet than to have an opportunity and not be prepared for it. So I would just tell myself, yes, keep going, do the right things, keep going for more knowledge, connections, build that network, and then things will start happening. And they did. So that's, I guess I would just encourage myself to keep doing the same things that I did.
Wonderfully put. Absolutely. I've heard that before. That is real good. Yes. Les Brown, maybe. I don't know. It's good stuff though.
I believe
Um,
it was either Zig Ziglar or Jim Rohn, but yeah.
well, Zig Ziglar, I think, was Les Brown's coach, maybe. So that's maybe where it
I mean, I
trended.
think they're all borrowing stuff from each other. There's nothing new anyway.
Yeah.
It just, yeah,
Different way of put. Absolutely.
yeah.
How important are coaches and mentors for you?
For me,
Hmm?
it's there. It doesn't work without it. It's, first of all, if you want to offer a service, you better get yourself some support and some guidance as well. So that is the first rule. You cannot be a coach or a mentor without having a coach or a mentor. Even psychologists have their own psychologists because they need to,
Wow.
keep
Okay.
their head straight. So
Sure.
who would not get a coach if they are expecting to get further faster? Unless you are so proud that you achieved something on your own, and that means the life to you, and you're willing to go through hell and to make all the mistakes in the book, then don't get a coach. Otherwise, I suggest you save yourself some time and money, even though it's an investment, but you save long term, you save a lot of money and time, and then you get things done much faster.
Absolutely. And that's one thing you hit on there was is spend money. That took me a little while starting out, definitely, because it does seem like, well, I gotta waste money. Quotations waste money. And it's not, it's an investment, it's part of. And without our coaches, I would not be where I'm at. So that is definitely huge. Something that people shouldn't overthink, and just, that's part of it. The most successful people have many, many coaches and mentors. So
Yeah.
absolutely. What is the definition of success to you?
Oh, that's a good one. Um, you have really good questions. I like it. I think it's questions that everyone should be asking themselves every day, actually, and kind of checking in with themselves. And this is one of them. And what is success to me is personal to me. It might be completely different to whoever else.
Mm,
Mainly, I want to feel proud of myself. I want to feel like I'm growing and making progress in life, and I'm better today than I was yesterday. That
mm.
is my main kind of rule for success. And whatever else that means, whatever the growth is, the progress is, then that's part of the success. It's not I want that house or that car, because houses and cars, they come and go.
Mhm.
Even people most of the time come and go. There are a few people that stay in your life. So if someone says, I would be successful if I have this person in my life or that person in my life, well, you don't ever know what is right for you. So I just say, as long as I'm making progress and I feel good about it, whatever that progress is, I'm successful. And as long as I'm also adding value to other people's lives, then I'm super successful. Then I'm happy.
Absolutely. You dropping a lot of stuff on here. Good stuff, a lot of motivation. So, and that's one reason why we like to do this, is to really motivate people. I say entrepreneurs, upcoming entrepreneurs, and people stuck. That is something that happens a lot, is you're stuck. And many times you just need some words of advice, some motivation to keep on going. So good stuff on here. What is next for you? Last question. What is next for you now? You succeeded at so many things.
I may sound a little, I don't even know how you would call that in English, but I say whatever is right. I don't, so again, I have a few specific directions and focuses, but then whatever else is right, it will come. It always has. Whenever I would, they say create a vision board and have all these pictures. It just never worked for me. It doesn't work for me that way. For some people it does. They need to have it in front of them and they really are connected with that. It means a lot to them. I don't have one thing that I would say, I need to have that, and that's what I'm working towards, or this is my next investment or whatever, because I don't know what is out there. I don't know what else is possible. And maybe you can call me naive, but I'm naive intentionally because I don't want to limit myself with what I know so far, what is possible, when there's so much more available that I don't even know about. So whatever is right for me and is going to, again, help me grow and add value and improve, then that's the right next step for me. That's what it's going to be. And I'm open for it.
Good.
I think that's the important part of it as well, because people want something and then they're not either allowing it into their life because they're so committed to that one thing that they feel that it's supposed to be the next thing. That's why I'm saying whatever is the right thing, bring it.
No, I love it. I love it. Open-minded, determined, and ready. Maybe
Oh,
that's
yeah.
maybe that's even
I
better for
love
the
that.
podcast.
I love
Open-minded,
that.
determined, and ready. Because that's what you said at the beginning, is I'm always ready. Somebody asked me that one time, is, are you ready? It's like, I heard it said, you get ready one time and you never stop being ready. Once you're ready, get it on. So
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
All right, last question for you here. Well, any last words of wisdom, anything you can suggest to somebody struggling at this very time?
Struggling is good. I hate struggling, but I also am very grateful for it, because struggling can sometimes, well, most of the time, I will say it means you either have to look reality into the eyes, straight into the eyes, and just admit to yourself where you are right now is not working for you. You're not happy and you don't want to keep going that way. That's the biggest thing. So it's not only about struggling, being unhappy, it's about making that decision and the commitment that this is not how it's going to continue to be. And so it's a good point, because when you're low, the only way is up. You can just push yourself and jump up. So this is actually a gift that you have, where life stops you and you have to look at it, and you have to then look within and ask yourself, well, what is it that I actually do want? How do I want to live my life? Who do I want to be in my life? Because you can literally choose who you want to be each day, how you're going to show up, what are you going to do, what are you going to say, how are you going to be with people, are you going to be kind, or are you going to be snappy? That already makes a huge difference, right? The small things make huge differences in life. And when you look within and you make a decision who you want to be, how you want to be seen in life, that means what kind of value are you going to add to people's lives? That's how you're going to be seen. And then what are you going to do about it? Even if you feel you're not ready, even if you have nothing that you can work with, even if you don't know who to talk to or where to go, just start looking. Just be open for answers. Just ask the questions. What's the next thing? How can I do this? What do I need to do? Who do I need to connect with? And something is going to come into your life. Someone is going to mention something that you're going to catch, because now you're going to be paying attention. And then you can start making the moves in the right direction, and you can start turning that life that you hate right now, maybe, or that is frustrating, you're going to turn it around. And it happens really quickly then once it starts, because now you're focused.
Coffee wasn't doing it for me this morning. Anja did it. She is dropping bombs right about now. Great stuff. I love it. Great motivation. So, and again, this is why we bring people on here. Motivation gets you going. I'm fired up now. I'm ready. I was dragging a little bit, but no more. So good stuff. I've also heard it say, if you don't hate it enough, you tolerate it. So you almost have to
that's
hate.
the big one. And whatever you have, and if it persists, it's because you allow it. If you keep struggling, it's because you keep allowing it and you haven't done anything about it yet. That one is powerful. Yes.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm sure many people are going to want to connect with you after this podcast here. So how can they reach out to you?
They can find me on social media. That's the easiest thing, because then, we can also have a conversation. If they have any questions, I'd be happy to answer. If there's anything that they're wondering about, I'm here, and let's see where it takes us. But social media is the easiest place to reach out.
I know time is not on our effort, but I'm getting ideas here, and I'm thinking having Anja Motivation Wednesdays, Motivation Tuesdays. We're going to bring you on here again. Absolutely. We're going to bring you
anytime.
Well, it has been an honor having you on here, ma'am. I'm sure, like I said, we'll have you again. But till next time, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure. Great to be here. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.